Well, I just want to thank everyone for joining. I'm very excited for this presentation or this class. And I think the majority of the reason why is because I'm an avid gardener, and I didn't realize all the different things that we could do with the oils and to help with different things in the garden that we deal with. So some of this, as you guys know, we're trying to be as 100% compliant. So some you're just going to have to read into whatever it is, you know, and then some there's a lot of blogs online. So I took a lot of information from the blogs, and also this book here, it's called Essentially Grown. Oh, sorry, where's my camera? Essentially Grown. And I think this has a lot of great information, and also it actually has a lot of resources in the respect of sourcing that she did for references in the back. So about 3 pages worth. So there is a lot of information available if you choose to look at it. And so I've tried to just compile as best I can a lunch and learn with some of the key information. And of course, there's always more. So let's just start there. This is, gardening with essential oils and our other products is a very vast, just like everything, topic. And we're just so excited to just share with you. And this is as I can see the comments here, it's a passion. Gardening is a passion for me as well. And so let's get to it. Okay. So we know that it's so key to know where your essential oils are coming from. And especially if we're using these essential oils in the garden and we're using them on our bodies, we're diffusing them, it's just critical to have quality. And so we know that we use essential oils in 3 ways: aromatically, topically, and internally. And actually, interestingly enough, we're kind of in general going to be using them same ways on our plants and in our garden. And of course, we can even use it on livestock if you're on a farm. We know our oils are extremely pure, and also that means because they're so pure, they're very potent. So it is important to know and trust in Young Living's seed to seal process, knowing that it's sustainable. We have third-party testing, and these are the only oils that I will be talking about today. So please don't take the information that I'm going to be sharing today and relay it with maybe retail store-bought oils. There is a significant difference between Young Living essential oils and retail oils. And we're not going to get into all those details. You can Google all that information, but truly know that Young Living has a seed to seal standard that is ethical, sustainable, and we do produce the highest, most authentic essential oils on the market today. And we have been for over 26 years. Okay.
So, aromatic oils in the garden. How are we going to do this? When using oils in the garden, you'll find there are many different ways to do so. Using the oils aromatically in the garden is most effective on airborne annoyances and potentially many others as well. Like humans, plants breathe in oxygen and can soak in the benefits of essential oils just by having them in the air around them. Recent studies show that using jasmine with plants reduced stress noticeably when compared to gardens that did not use jasmine. You can also try peace and calming, valor, or lavender. So, sprays. What's a nice garden spray? Just add a few drops of the essential oil, as noticed throughout the class. We'll be listing some of them, to water in a spray glass bottle. Please note that glass is the best way to use the sprays and the oils. How much do you need? 2 to 4 drops for every 8 ounces of water. Adding a few drops of natural liquid soap, example Castile soap, will help make sure the spray uniformly covers both leaves and insects. And then what do? Spray directly onto the fruits, vegetables, flowers. The underside of the leaves is preferable. You can also soak ordinary string in a mixture of water and essential oils to discourage flying insects. Hang the string in the garden. or cloth strips. Put 1 drop of essential oil on the strips of fabric. Hang these throughout the garden and adding more drops as needed. Cotton balls. Add essential oils to cotton balls to deal with burrowing animals or pests. Place the cotton balls on top of the nests, burrows, etc. We'll talk about the oils for various purposes throughout the class.
Oh, sorry. So when we're using, so that's all the kind of, I mean, there's lots of different things that you can use for aromatics. So that's actually putting in the aromatic usage of the garden. And now we're going to be talking about kind of the internal, which kind of seems funny to talk like that. But really, if we think of our soil as our gut of the plant, we also realize how important the soil is in keeping plants from growing healthy. And also we know that, again, over the years, if we have not been putting fertilizers in, which I mean manures or things that help balance the pH or different certain things that we can do to help enhance the soil, that also means that our soil has been depleted because the plants, of course, use that nutrients to suck up, to grow. So we need to, of course, offset that. So worms and other soil dwellers decompose everything so that plants can suck them up right. There's a perfect balance in soil, good soil fungus, bacteria, and other living organisms that make soil more nourishing for the plant. Oh, sorry. So even funguses can be an important food source or nutrient provider to the plants. For this reason, essential oils are a very good way to aid in promoting balance. That's a key word here, balance that won't deplete the soil as most commercial synthetic treatments would. So by incorporating in the soil, we promote balance at the nutritional level. Oils don't overcompensate, which is great. They always strive for balance. And we know that even in our own bodies, right? Chemicals, and we mean toxic chemicals or synthetic chemicals, they actually throw off the balance a lot of times, and then it can be very difficult. And we see this in actually farming practices today, where they're having to apply more and more and more and different ones because now certain, let's say pesticides are no longer working because the plants are smart, So there's a lot of different things going on here. So one of the things that we can do, this is again, something that Gary Young told us a long time ago, and I was there. So I put 2 actually options here. So if you have a soil that may or may not be contaminated, which the truth is a lot of soil is contaminated, this is actually something that you can try. And I use a sprayer. So even though it's plastic, I know we don't put oils in plastic. When we use a sprayer like this, I actually just use it all in one go. And so there's nothing left in the plastic. And normally it's a harder plastic. So I just thought I'd just show the sprayer that I use. This is how, as Monia said before here, we actually put dye guys. So I do 1 full bottle into 20 gallons. And sometimes I even do the ratio higher than that. In the respect, I might just do it in a 1 gallon. Like I've done that before in where I've had really bad soil issues. I did 1 bottle in 1 gallon. But again, did I put it on plants? No, I just put it on the soil and I used the sprayer and I sprayed it and I let it sit for 30 days. And so this is something, oh, I see there's a chat here. This is something, are there images of snakes? No, there is not, yeah, sorry about that. This is something that I think is so important. The other thing that Gary Young had said in 2014 at one of the retreats was, again, he said both of these, but maybe, again, you can pick whatever one you feel is appropriate. You can mix, again, the same oil with neem oil at a 1-to-1 ratio and then spread that, because neem oil is a little bit thicker, of course, spread that into the mix into the soil. And then again, after they've done testing of the soil, they have shown that the contamination, which again, the toxic chemicals, after the first one is 30 days, and then the second one was 50 days, it tested actually toxic chemical free. So that literally is meaning that, does this oil digest these chemicals? I'll leave that up to you guys to determine. So I think this is actually a great way to start. So I know we might be past this right now, but maybe not, depending on when you're planting your garden. I literally just planted my garden this week because I do spray this every year. So this is something I do every year in our garden, whether I've already done it before, because we know we have planes, we know we have things in the air that might not be so good. We are in an agricultural area, but that's not actually it. Agriculture is, great, but no one sprays around here. However, in saying that, from my background with the Ministry of Environment, we actually had to do testing, and I know that even if they're spraying far, far away, we have high winds here, and there is a potential to contaminate my land. So for me, I think it's just important. If I'm planting all organic and I want an organic garden, I'm going to start there. So the next thing is, is something we do for enhancing the soil. So again, this is something.
Terrible information.
Oh, sorry, I'm just going to mute you guys there. So this is actually information that I think I never knew this. And I think it's great because I do plant lavender plants, interestingly enough. And every year I do take the sprigs off, or however, the lavender flowers, and I mulch them up and I do put them in our soil. And I never really realized, I mean, of course I use them for myself for a little bit and then I put them in the soil, but I didn't realize that lavender essential oil actually also helps improve the conditions of plants. So after you've done the dye, guys, or even in the same time, whatever you want to do, again, you can sprinkle a few drops around the plants or mix it in the compost. I like to use sheep compost for me because I find goat or sheep, if you can, or even horses, depending on where your horse farm is because sheep typically don't get as many hormones, if at all. And again, they typically don't get a lot of antibiotics either because normally sheep are roaming outside. It's not like a hog, and no offense to people that use pig manure or anything like that, but hogs typically stay inside, so they typically need more antibiotics and things like that. So anyway, so this is where I actually do it. So I will put the lavender essential oil in the compost, and then I spread it out, and then I mix. So that's kind of what I do. If you have already planted, another alternative is actually to add a few drops to your watering can, and then you could do it with your regular watering. Oh, Tammy?
Might help if I muted myself. So now we're moving into using oils topically in the garden. And the key here is that we need to dilute quite heavily. So there's a nice spray, a basil spray, 2 to 4 drops of basil essential oil to 8 ounces of water. Put it into a glass water spray bottle, shake, and spray at the base of the plant. So this is great. It's effective for dealing with strengthening the immune function of the plant as it goes into the root system. And some of you might already plant basil with your tomatoes. So it's a companion. It improves the health, nutrition, and taste of the tomatoes in much the same way. So if you have a smaller garden and you just want to have tomatoes in the garden and you might not have room for basil, this might be an excellent way to get around that. So it has great benefits for all the root system and the immune system of the plant.
Perfect. And so this is, I know, a lot of people's favorites for many reasons, our tea tree oil. So again, plants are like sponges, and they also have very small when you consider their mass to that of a human. So when using essential oils on plants, again, we're gonna make sure we dilute a lot, just like Tammy said. And we're also gonna spray around the garden. We can mist the plants here. So one thing, again, we're gonna use the word environmental threats. You can figure out what that hopefully means. But to prevent the spread of some environmental threats found in soils, essential oils users have found that a mixture of tea tree oil and water can be applied directly to the plant soil. So this is again, this is not, so you can spray it on, but I actually recommend, especially tea tree is a very powerful essential oil, that we do avoid spraying directly on the plants, especially during the hottest time of the day. Ideally, if you can just, again, understand, if you Google the properties of tea tree oil and plant soil and some environmental threats that could affect that, you would actually want to more spray on the soil around. And so again, just like people, plants get sick. So approximately 85% of plant diseases are resulted of fungi. So again, so that's important to know too. What are the other things that we can use with tea tree oil? So we can clean our garden tools, and if we have a greenhouse, we can clean inside the surfaces of the greenhouse. So of course we can also use our thieves cleaner, but I just wanted to make a comment about the tea tree oil. And again, mixing 10 drops in 32 ounces of water, or again, you do your dilution rate, but you can clean off your surfaces, your garden tools, your pots. And what does this do? It eliminates the possibility of transferring any types of environmental threats or issues to other different plants or other different surfaces. So this is actually something that I actually do all the time, especially if I have a known environmental threat in a specific issue, like as an example with tomato plants. If you look up maybe some environmental threats for tomato plants, you would not maybe want to transfer some of that to other plants in your garden, or if you're potting, that type of thing. Okay, so again, talking about some practical uses, again, we're always talking about balancing, right? So again, when preparing the soil, or if you have beds or potting, you can use tea tree oil. It helps balance maybe the fungi and promotes health of the soil. Certain things like cedarwood may deter slugs or snails. Peppermint, we know, we always put peppermint, and I have it here, for mice or ants or that type of thing. And we know purification also helps ward off more annoyances. We're gonna have a list in a second, but the general, use of these would be 2 to 4 drops in 8 ounces of water. And again, a lot of times I like to just spray around the soil base of the plant versus on the plant, unless of course there's very specific issues. And of course, again, you can use oils adding to the watering can, or like my husband and I, we actually have a drip irrigation because our property is quite large. And so we can add the oils to there. Making sure though that your drip irrigation is not plastic, right? It has to be metal of some point.
So all gardeners love their pollinators, their butterflies, the bees, the birds. We need our pollinators to make those beautiful, beautiful blossoms and turn into fruit. So making a simple spray using essential oils and spraying on the blossoms can encourage even more visitors, which means more fruit, more harvest. So here's a pollinator pleaser recipe. 8 ounces of water, 2 to 4 drops of essential oil, and you can choose your oils that you like: geranium, Roman chamomile, orange, basil, rosemary, clary sage, and lavender can all be used aromatically to attract the pollinators and bees. We really want the bees to come. Lavender and fennel attract butterflies to your garden. So if you want to have a butterfly garden, these are the things that you need to add. So add them into a spray bottle. Once again, glass spray bottle, shake and spray on the leaves. Like Christina said, when it's cooler would probably be best because the hot sun would burn. And as we know that some of these oils that are mentioned, especially oil and the citrus ones, they're sun sensitive. So they'll even attract even more sun to the pollinators. So the wellness checklist. This is a nice little list that, sorry, I just need to pull it up on my slide. So number 1, nutrition. Do you have good compost? What about the manure you're using? What minerals are in there? and other sources of nutrition in the soil. So the soil, like Christina mentioned, is the gut health of the plant. The roots go in there, so it needs to be well nourished. Then check for exercise. Yeah, we're going, how does a plant exercise? Well, wind is great because it builds the roots strong, it builds the stems strong. In greenhouses, fans are used to keep the plants from growing leggy, stringy, and weak. Number 3, reduce their stress. As we know that plants do have stress, they're very sensitive to the conditions around them. So provide them the optimal conditions. Plants need protection from the extreme weather and the elements. Number 4, nutrition. Provide good compost and other sources of nutrition in your soil. Number 5, reduce the toxic load. Avoid chemical inputs in the garden and around the home. So Christina talked about those environmental threats. So you know what's around your home and what you need to protect your plants from, and the chemicals that are going in there that might not be so positive for your plants. And number 6, inform self-care. Using essential oils to prevent pests and other health issues. So this is a nice little checklist. You can go through your garden and see what you need to add to your garden using the essential oils.
Now I was muted, sorry about that. So this is actually a list. I actually put if you just look up companion planting, this is a chart that obviously the chart I put together myself, but it's easily seen other places, and they had even more plants that you can do. But we know that actually companion planting or gardening is actually something that they do in larger agricultural settings, and of course even in our own little gardens. As an example, we wouldn't just plant all different things without planting something else. We actually want to utilize the properties of other plants to help balance or benefit other plants. And so here are just some examples. And again, because this is recorded, you can come back to this list, or you can go to the Google companion planting, and I'm sure you'll find a bigger chart than this. So this is just to show you, again, they're saying, say if you're planting beans, you can either plant rosemary or basil close by to help, or you can use the essential oils for that same plant. Say if you were planting things like lettuce. Well, lettuce, I know sometimes gets certain things on the leaves. So maybe actually either planting thyme or cilantro or whatever beside it, or you can use the essential oils. So I'm not going to go into all the different lists, but these are, I really like this list. And again, you can get it either, watching the recording once we post on YouTube again, or just Google the link here for companion planting. But this is just to show you there's so many different oils for different things, but there is a theme. Like you can see like there's a lot of thyme, there's a lot of sage, there's definitely a lot of peppermint and a lot of spearmint, and even actually some others that you'll see, like basil seems to come up quite a bit. So there's certain ones that you'll see that are kind of a repeat, and it's always good to have these in the garden or using the essential oils with them. So this is, some people may or may not be liking me right now. So dandelions, I love dandelions. You should see our property right now. It is just full of dandelions, and I tell my husband, he just asked me literally before I got on here, he's like, should I go and cut down all the dandelions in the, I was like, no, the bees need them. So please don't. Anyways, so good nutrition is found in the garden. So it's important to note that some weeds are also quite beneficial for soil health and our plants. Some weeds are actually nourishment accumulators, which are dynamic accumulators, which means that, again, it helps the soils, helps a lot of different things, bees, pollination, that kind of thing. So we can spend our lives weeding, but we can also let them grow. Again, maybe not all over the place, but we can be very specific on how they grow in our garden and or how they grow on our lawns, that type of thing. So dandelions grow in areas that are wounded. I'm not sure if you know that. So you can pick them and you can try to kill them, but the silica basically and nitrogen they draw from are deep in the soil. And they're necessary for the overall health of the soil, and they're essential to healthy plant growth. So, again, we know we even have these in our salads now, right? They're healthy for us too. So not only, like I just wrote here, I guess, not only are they good for the garden, they're great for humans. So did you know that several of our supplements, and these are of course on the US side, but I wanted to flag because a lot of people don't understand the benefits of dandelion. So a lot of our supplements like Juvatone and KB tincture include the dandelion root for many health benefits and supporting properties. And it also, which I thought was very strange, but awesome, it's also found in the Shutron aftershave lotion. So I didn't know that, but that's pretty cool. So I just want to see here. I see clear. Oh, okay. Sorry. I see there's a thing on. There we go. Sorry. I saw I had ticked off the. Okay. So this is some great natural weed killer. I mean, again, I know I just said we have to keep some, but some we don't want to keep, right? So here is actually something that I found work great, and you're not using any chemicals, but it's really important to use caution when spraying this. So using white vinegar, Castile soap, and I recommend 1 or 2 of the essential oils below. I did use cinnamon bark myself and oregano. You can use whatever you want, but I wanted to use the hot oils. Hot oils, we know cinnamon bark and oregano are very hot oils because I don't like certain weeds. I'm not talking dandelions, I'm talking some other weeds. And they just kept coming back and back. But you know what? After using this, it did not come back. So, which was wonderful. Again, you combine all the ingredients together, shake well before, because we know we need to make sure that the essential oils and everything mixes well. But please, 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 this will kill your fruit and vegetables if you spray directly on those plants, or it has the potential to harm them. Not in a like chemical way, just in a burning way, right? Because that's kind of what that does. So again, just try to be careful around those type of plants. Okay, so this is actually something, I really like this picture, which is really nice. So we must do our best to understand that some of the ecosystems are in the garden. And if we kill off one pest, we in turn may kill off another beneficial creature by depleting its natural food source. So some examples are wasp larvae eat cutworms, or ladybugs eat aphids. So again, some pests must be dealt with, and we understand that. But in general, the more diversity you have in your garden, both in plants and insects, the better and healthier your garden will be. So growing all one type of plant is very contrary to the way nature works. So mimic that diversity in your garden as much as possible by planting flowers if you can to attract pollinators, herbs to prevent pests, and using essential oils to do much of the same. So this is actually one recipe. Again, it's a general recipe. We're going to get into a few more different recipes as we go here. But this plant protection recipe, again, just using water, lavender and thyme, essential oils, 2 to 4 drops. And again, you'll have to experiment with what's going on. But a lot of times, again, combining that in a spray bottle, you can mist, not completely dilute, but just mist the spray onto the plants. And again, underneath the leaves are the best if you have any, again, things that your plant needs to be protected from. So, and I forget, Tammy, I think I'm going to just keep going because I forget where we are here. But so while most of us wouldn't go to the extreme of calling a plant doctor for our plants, imagine farmers who are reliant on their harvest for income. They would definitely be calling those doctors, plant doctors meaning. So again, we can call them if they're needed, but incorporating essential oils into your regular gardening routine can increase the garden's abundance and also can improve your or our health daily. It's okay, more protected when we are using our essential oils in the garden, and less likely that you'll need an expert to help, if you know what I'm saying. So in most cases, essential oils are very safe and effective, and an effective option. And of course, using this class, please don't hesitate to try all the different stuff we're suggesting. So this is something, again, what I love about essential oils is that they don't kill these things. All they do is they make these annoyances, they deter them, right? So there is a big difference between using a chemical toxic spray to get rid of ants and throwing some peppermint oil in a spray bottle like this, or even actually, I just used it, dropping it in certain areas. I even actually drop it on my deck, so that way I don't have ants on my deck. But this is a list, literally you can get anywhere. I saw it 100 times online. And these are, again, just certain essential oils that help remove annoyances, not kill them, remove annoyances from your garden. And things like moss, as an example, lavender, peppermint, geranium, hyssop, cedarwood. Snails can be annoying, right? Especially in the garden. Patchouli, cedarwood, and pine. Spiders. So spiders, I love having spiders, except for I literally got bit by one and my whole finger just swelled like crazy because I don't wear gardening gloves. And that's one thing I think, I'm not sure if we went over that a little bit, but sometimes people wear gloves and sometimes they don't, and I'm a don't, until I got bit by that spider. And so again, maybe just to deter them from being so many, using peppermint and spearmint in the soils. And you guys again can look at this list after, but we'll just continue on. But you can also, again, just Google essential oils and outdoor annoyances, and you'll come up with this list very quickly. So this is one that I put together, sorry, a little bit blurry, but again, because I was getting ants and certain types of other insects in the gardening. And so again, instead of dousing with insecticides and, creating such a havoc for my health and the garden's health and the plant's health, I use either this recipe, and I also use just peppermint oil, so depending. So peppermint and purification added together in a spray bottle. I did do 15 drops of each, and I just used a spray bottle just like this, or even a little bit bigger, and I sprayed the underneath of my fruit trees. And that's something that I actually just did recently, like last week. And so again, that will help. And I do it every few weeks, but again, make sure I don't do it in high sun. That's so, so important. Do it either, I do it actually either at night sometimes, or I'll do it early morning. I definitely don't do it during the day, like midday meaning. So this is, again, this is a broad spectrum garden annoyance control spray. And if you want to up the ante, because again, it may be just the purification and peppermint alone are not doing it, add clove and thyme, of course, or rosemary, or again, you can go back to that chart to see what issue you're dealing with. And those are the specific oils you want to add. But again, I would add it to like a 1 gallon big spray jug and then use that. And that's a broad spectrum spray for whether it be fruit trees or things in your garden. And again, you can spray on the plants. I do like to spray again underneath the leaves if possible, and on the soil around. This one, I also got bit by one of these the other day. So that's why I put it in here. Fire ant spray. Again, does not kill them. It just helps them go somewhere else in my field. Peppermint, orange, cinnamon bark, wintergreen, and in 2 cups of water. You'll notice actually the ratio is a little bit stronger here, right? And again, I sprayed it on the anthills and also in any infested areas. And of course, you know that the fire ants, they typically all stay together, and you see them because they're very red, or orangey red, however you want to call it. And anyways, something to keep in mind, to have out with you all the time, because this hurts when they bite, that's for sure. And, our little pests. The bunny one is hilarious to me because they tried to put, they're putting not a barrier, but that's for beans. But even with these barriers that sometimes we put up, the animals just go through them. We one time put up a fence for the deer, and it just literally went right over top of it, and they ate. Every year I've planted corn, they eat all the corn. So this year I did not plant corn because I didn't want them to trample all over the garden. But the deer or rabbit repellent, 20 drops of clove oil, sour cream or buttermilk, 2 eggs, raw eggs beaten, cooking oil, Castile soap, and water. So mix all these in a blender or whatever, in a mixer. Add 1 gallon to a 1 gallon sprayer, which is the things that you buy at Canadian Tire or whatever store, and top the rest off with water. And again, spray around the entire garden or wherever you want to protect. And it says do it every 2 weeks or after a heavy rain. And this does work well. So just so you guys know, it works really well. Okay, so these safety tips. These are things that, again, I wanted to talk about. We kind of talked about throughout the call here so far, but it's important to know that, again, we're not using these kind of sprays that we've been talking about or repellents. We're not doing these during the hot times, right? Nothing over 37 degrees Celsius. Again, the ideal time to spray is in the early morning, if you can, on the soils or the actual plants themselves. We do not apply essential oils if plant tissues are wet or if rain is likely. Why? Because we know that water, interestingly enough, it intensifies, even though it's mixed with water. When the oil touches the water that's on the plant, it's like a driver, and it actually might burn, if you would. That's not the right terminology, but it might endanger or hurt the plants if you do that. So it's really just important, again, to try to avoid that and just do it in the morning when there's no rain. Avoid spraying the plant with essential oils in the fall before winter hardening has occurred. Do not apply essential oils to plants along with sulfur or sulfur-containing pesticides. So there's a lot of different things that people have actually added to their soils. If you actually get a soil test, which you can actually add minerals. We have a product, I'm not allowed to say what it is, but you can Google Young Living and Minerals and see what that is. If you need to add sulfur, we have an amazing product called Sulfurzyme if you want to do that. Of course, there is other organic sulfur in greenhouses that you can buy, but you just want to make sure it's organic versus, again, a synthetic version. Again, you don't want to use essential oils when you're using sulfur-containing pesticides either. So certain plants, I saw someone raise their hands. I'm just going to get through this list and then I'll see what the question is. If you could type the question, that'd be awesome too. So certain plants tend to be sensitive to essential oils, and we know that. So in these cases, it's best to avoid direct application. So oils may be diluted and sprayed on soil around the plants to avoid after treating. So some examples of sensitive plants are black walnut, Douglas fir, junipers, cedars, maples, and I include Japanese and red maples in particular, and also some spruce trees. Oh, I put spruce here. That's funny to me. Some spruce trees and other red buds and other things. So if we get essential oils in the eye, which has happened, I mean, I did a presentation and I wiped my eye with peppermint, good for me. You can actually, if you don't have carrier oil, you just continue blinking and it will eventually go away. But if you can, get into the house, get a carrier oil like V6 or our olive oil, coconut oil, and actually flush your eye with that or put it over top if you have a solid coconut oil. And again, make sure you do not rinse that right away with water. The first thing people do after they get an essential oil in the eye, especially peppermint, is they'll go and put water in the eye. What actually makes it worse? It actually intensifies the oil and it drives it in even deeper. So again, please, please, please avoid using water, especially just right at the start anyway. And of course, we know to store the oils not in the greenhouse in the sun, bring them inside, store them in a cool, dark place. And again, we know that light, air exposure, and heat can oxidize and destroy some of the key active constituents in the essential oils. So this is important to note.
Okay, now we're heading in for tips for the gardener. So if you want to continue on there, thank you. So mineral sunscreen. This is absolutely amazing sunscreen, and it comes in SPF 25 and 50. And not only does it protect your skin, but it also protects the earth. Once again, it's natural plant-based, but also the coral reefs. So if you're swimming into an area that has coral reefs, you'll be able to feel comfortable knowing that our sunscreen is very, very safe. So also wearing gloves, as Christina mentioned, and I wasn't a glove wearer as well. So it was quite painful when some insects stung me, so I wear gloves. I like the rubber one because you get a good grip. It's also great for raking to prevent yourself from getting blisters. Either wearing a cap like this that has the brim to protect the sunlight from your eyes, or a sun hat. So it also protects your entire face and your shoulders. So try the mineral sunscreen. I absolutely love it. So we all know that we get pretty hot when we're gardening. If you try your cooling spray, it's peppermint cooling spray. So 2 to 4 drops of peppermint essential oil, 8 ounces of water, and then you mix them into a glass spray bottle. Once again, shake it, spray on the back of the neck to cool down while the gardening. But as Christina said, you don't want peppermint in your eye because it burns. Another tip is that if you don't have a carrier oil and you have the lip balm, you can put the lip balm on the side, like lavender. I would suggest. I wouldn't suggest the grapefruit or the cinnamon. Just put it at the side and it will dry it out as well. So the cooling spray, and fellas or whoever cuts the grass, this is a great one for you as well. So peppermint cools. So even if you soak a cloth that has peppermint, put it on your neck, it helps cool you down. So our outdoor blend, Young Living now has an outdoor blend here in Canada that is comprised of citronella, lemongrass, rosemary, geranium, spearmint, thyme, and clove. Is perfect. I love this. We have a lot of insects here where I live, but you can make your own. So equal parts of purification, thieves, peppermint, and Palo Santo. And if you like to spray it on rather than rub it on, you can purchase one of these beautiful spray bottles that you can use the outdoor blend in, or you can mix your own. And we know it's hot, and it is smoking hot out there today. So I tend not to garden in midday and high noon. So what can you drink to cool off? Well, you know, you can add lemon oil plus to your water to stay hydrated. So it's always great. I have lemon oil with my Ningxia Red. I like lime because it tastes so great. So Ningxia Red with water and lemon and lime. Plus oils is great. Stainless steel, glass, or ceramic. So always remember that you need to nourish yourself and stay hydrated. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Tammy. So we know that unfortunately some of us have these seasonal things that go on, and they do create some issues, especially if you're in the garden and whether you're weeding or trying to plant, and especially this time of year, we might be getting, some nasal drip or stuffed up and those type of things. So this is a very well-known seasonal discomfort blend that a lot of people use. And again, I highly recommend using the Plus essential oils, the lemon, lavender, and peppermint, to put them in a veggie capsule. You can buy them through Young Living or any other health food store. And as you put these in a veggie capsule, you will notice that some of these seasonal issues tend to just go away. So you can, a lot of times if you're very severe issues, a lot of people will make these actually in advance. You can freeze them, I think up to 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how much carrier oil you put in. You can actually add a little more lavender if you want, if you have very serious seasonal issues. And you can take multiple a day. I've taken even sometimes 3 because I have some seasonal issues during June. So for June, for me, I actually take 3 of these a day, 1 in the morning, 1 kind of mid-afternoon, and 1 before I go to bed. And I find, again, whether or not you can diffuse these if you use the non-plus oils. But for me, I find the ingestion for seasonal issues seems to be the most important. Cool. So for the gardeners. So I'm a gardener, as I mentioned, I don't use, unfortunately, gloves too much. So for me, I find it's hard to see right now. They're clean now, but because I use this scrub. So this is actually a scrub that I make, and I use a glass container that's airtight, and it's not something I make all the time. Like I make one kind of batch, and it normally lasts me almost the whole season, depending on how much, again, I'm in the garden. So again, you can do double the sugar. You can do half a cup of white, half a cup of brown, or just half a cup of either one. You can add liquid Castile soap, and then you can use olive oil or a different carrier oil. And then you can just add essential oils that are really good for skin. So whether it be lavender, frankincense, which is the one I have, or you can do clary sage and tea tree oil. Again, you can choose which one. I'm just giving you some options. And again, you mix all the ingredients together, stir it until it's combined. I put it into the airtight container, and I do actually keep it in my bathroom, again, away from the sun though, and I don't use plastic. I do use, mine is a glass container, but some people even use stainless steel. And when to use it, you just grab a handful, and it is literally like a scrub for your hands. And I find it doesn't dry out your hands, because gardening, we know, does dry out hands. Like if your hands are in the soil all the time, your hands do get cracked and chipped and dried. Because why? It's actually pulling the moisture away. So this is actually something really nice. And you could also actually even just use the satin, I didn't put it here, but I forget what it's called now. Where is it? The satin facial scrub. That is also a wonderful scrub that you can use as well. You could also use some of these products too, like so are these foaming hand soap. You can use the waterless hand purifier. I just caution again, outside right now, because it does have alcohol, you just want to watch. It's plant-based alcohol, but we know that having it inside really hot areas, not so good, right? The other thing is the new soap that's in the spring catalog. I love it. I just, I've replaced, actually every room has both now, the Thieves, and I think it's called Luscious Lemon. Oh my gosh, I don't know what it's called. Anyways, it smells phenomenal, and definitely will be getting more of that. So these are just, again, lots of different ways that you can help with your hands. And again, something that happens, unfortunately, when you're gardening and you're not using gloves or you're in shorts, I either cut myself or I have skin irritations because I'm pulling weeds, could have scrapes or bruises or bites. So depending on what the issue is, again, you could be using purification or lavender, or we know Mary Young always talks about, when the kids are playing soccer, or they always have helichrysum on hand. So utilizing these to soothe the skin in the affected areas, or splinters. So I got a splinter, well, you can't see it anymore, but it was really deep in here on the side of my hand, and clove oil. So a lot of people think, what? That seems weird. Clove oil, actually, I just applied it every, time I remembered, is the truth. Maybe a few times the first hour, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then I did it kind of a few hours after, and then a few hours after, and literally it helps pull it out. It's pretty amazing to see. And I've done this for many, many years now, because I, again, don't wear gloves. So clove oil and splinters is awesome. And then we have our, as I said, unfortunately, we get drier, cracked skin. So these are things, whether it be, again, our feet, because I don't even garden sometimes with shoes. So whether it be our feet or our hands or even our legs, we want to moisturize. And things like our lavender body lotion is phenomenal, or you can make your own using lavender and Melrose, a little bit of coconut oil, a little bit of shea butter, and you can mix this together till it's creamy, add the essential oils, mix again, and then always store in a glass jar. So I just want to keep reiterating that, and avoid direct sunlight. So again, these recipes, I'm sure you can find more. You don't have to use these oils, but I really like them. And then the Cool Azul Pain Cream. This is something that I think has been a lover of mine, I guess I'll use. I actually put this on exactly. Marilyn is doing her dance, her Cool Azul Pain Cream dance. This is a phenomenal. I actually put it on before and after. So because I am a bigger woman, and I also had an L4-R5 disc herniation. So for me, we have a big garden. And so for me, planting and being down all the time, I already know my back's going to be sore. It's not a question. It's just how much. But if I do, I call it my preemptive strike. If I actually put this pain cream on before, and I'm going to show you some oils that I also use with it, it totally alleviates the aches and the pains. And I know, again, some of our things talks about backaches, strains, sprains, the list goes on. But why does it do that? Because the methyl salicylate found in wintergreen helps alleviate pain deep into the muscles and joints. And also the natural menthol found in peppermint provides that cooling effect, which we all love, right? Similar to other products that we know that are on the market. So here are some of my other great companions. So we could also, like, if I've done some gardening and, I'm in some severe agony, the first 3 oils at the top here, we call our M-Balm. You can Google what that means, but basically the M-Balm is phenomenal, and it's something I recommend. I normally do 5 drops of each, or double it or triple it, depending on how much issues I'm dealing with. And then the bottom are, again, my most popular ones that I go to. Valor, as we know, I put along my spine, and especially in my L4, L5 region, especially if I know I'm doing gardening or any lifting or anything like that. And then my go-to is Deep Relief. And, Panaway or Deep Relief, some people like both. My big thing is Deep Relief, but some people swear by Panaway, right? So you do you, and you play with the oils. We know that actually the other oil that I'm going to just talk about just for a second, Relieve It, it was created because Mary Young, which is the co-founder of the company, nothing was working for her issues. And so Gary specifically made a formula, which is Relieve It, that helped her. And so again, Panaway might not be yours, Valor might not be, Deep Relief, but you know what? Maybe Relieve It is one, because it has different oils in it. Tammy?
Okay, so you've worked hard all spring and summer, and now it's time to reap the benefits and harvest your fruit. So what recipes can we use with our fruit? Well, first of all, we need to wash your fruit, right? So it's always important to wash, whether it's store-bought or from your garden. You never know what the environmental environment and condition is. So if you have the thieves soak or the spray, you can put your fruit in there. So you can see on the right hand of the screen, grapes washed in water and not sprayed with the veggie wash or the veggie spray. It's on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, you can see in those pictures how crisp and clean and all the toxins or chemicals that have been sprayed for shipping and preservation are off of them. So number 1, clean your fruit. And if you don't have the Thieves Veggie Spray or soap, you can fill up the sink, add 2 to 4 drops of lemon and digize, essential oils, and let the fruits and veggies sit for a few minutes. Drain and rinse, especially with the store-bought products. So, creamy fruit dip. This is delicious, and it adds such flavor to any fruits. So 2 packs of cream cheese, 3 drops of lemon plus, orange plus, lime plus, half a cup of honey, 1 cup of vanilla yogurt, and mix it and enjoy. Our next one is the green smoothie. So ice, spinach leaves, yogurt, strawberries, pineapple, coconut milk, and then your oils again, lemon, lime, orange. Mix everything except the ice in a blender. And then once they're added, blended, add the ice and blend to the desired texture. And this one makes 2 smoothies so you can share with whoever's helping you in the garden. So the next recipe is the caprese recipe. Tomatoes, olive oil, basil plus, salt, pepper, garlic powder or fresh garlic, and 20 mozzarella balls. Toss ingredients together and boom, you have this beautiful salad, fresh from the garden. And then a pesto, basil and oregano pesto. Garlic, Parmesan cheese, basil, kale, sunflower seeds, cashew nuts, salt, pepper, extra virgin olive oil, lemon plus, basil plus, oregano plus, and mix them all together and you have this beautiful pesto that's fresh and tangy to dip your nacho chips in or your vegetables. Back to you, Christina.
So I don't know if everyone is a member, and if not, if you are, that's awesome. And if not, we're just going to briefly go through what a good option, because a lot of people have watched this now and they want to know, hey, if I'm not a member with Young Living already, how do I get some of these amazing products to help with the garden? So we have 2 options, which are great options. You can be a retail member or you can be a wholesale member. In Canada, I don't think anyone picks retail because it is absolutely free to be a wholesale member and you get amazing benefits from 24 up to 49% off retail value, and you have all other benefits that you qualify for. So that's one good option. The better option is when you're a wholesale member, you actually have the option of purchasing a premium starter kit. And Young Living Canada has 4 premium starter kits to choose from. 2 actually have a lot of the oils that we talked about today: peppermint, thieves, purification, lemon, copaiba, panaway, frankincense. Almost the whole kit has almost all the oils we talked about. And it also has our waterless hand purifier and option of diffusers, whether it be the Desert Mist, which is the top one, or the Dewdrop, which is the bottom one there. Then we have our 2 other kits, which is our Ninja Red Juice, which is phenomenal nutrient-packed juice, which is my favorite product actually of Young Living. And then we have our Thieves Kit, which is jam-packed full of green cleaning personal care products that are all plant-based and super healthy for you. And that also comes with the diffuser. So when you break down the cost of all the different oils and everything like that, we actually have a cost or a value, retail value of over $441, which is absolutely amazing. And so when we break that down to what the premium starter kits cost, which are $199.75, you can see that it's over a 50% savings, which is absolutely amazing. And that is probably one of the biggest reasons why people start with the premium starter kits, is because of the amazing value. So do you like free stuff? We know you do. And it's like our birthday every single month when it comes to our door. Literally, actually, we just got one of our orders delivered because both my husband and I have accounts and we have our Essential Rewards order. And it is truly like getting a birthday present. Even though you know what you ordered, you can order whatever you want, whenever you want. You can change the dates. And it's just so wonderful being on a program where you get something monthly and you get actually a lot of bonuses where you get free products, you get bonus points that you can use to buy more free product, and you get even discounted shipping. It's a win-win-win all the way around. And this is how what we find is the best option, is actually customizing your order with Essential Rewards. So whether you want a kit of oils or any other thing, products that you want, I just kind of added some things that I use a lot of times, like the Cool Zoe Pain Cream or the Thieves Cleaner or whatever products you want. I'm just giving some examples. It's literally customized to what you want. And after you order certain things like this, again, depending on your order, you're going to get a lot of things for free. So whether it be, again, if you're getting the kit, you're going to get maybe an oil for free, or certain months we get like lip balms or whatever it may be. There's so many different products that are available when you're ordering on the Essential Rewards monthly program. And so, as you guys know, we always have to offer some amazing bonuses from our tribe. And we have this amazing book. It's called The Trail Guide. It's about 68 pages full of all this information like we wanted to share, whether it be recipes or nutritional stuff or things to help with emotional balancing, pets and babies. We have 68 pages full of just jam-packed information. And we also have a lot of different resources that are available exclusive for our team. So we have an educational website called the Clubhouse. We have our Facebook pages. And of course, if you're not a member of our team, but we still want you to get educated, we have a full, like jam-packed full public website called bluespruce.club. And you can go there and you can actually look at all these different classes. You can see our blog posts about all our DIY recipes. And it's just, again, we just like to educate, educate, educate. And here is, again, if you want to learn more, go to our public site or our YouTube site, and you can see all the classes, the Lunch and Learns that we've done. And also we have, of course, some private classes in our Clubhouse private group as well. So we really hope that you enjoy this class. I'm going to stop sharing here. We really hope that you enjoy this class. And what I'm actually going to do is, I noticed there were some questions, and we will stop the recording and then we'll open up to answer any questions. So again, I want to thank Tammy for joining me on this journey, presenting this Gardener's Secret Weapon, which is our essential oils, amazing products. And we really hope you enjoyed it. And we hope we see you on another Lunch and Learn class.